Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft. And I'm mocking, giving you my views, thoughts, and opinions. Mike Renner has a new mock via PFF, so we're going to go ahead and indulge in that one today. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro, and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Special thanks to today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. If you like betting and you like fantasy, well, I got good news for you because Underdog covers it both. You could use promo code Broshmo when you sign up, and they will match your deposit. Yes, that's what I said. You deposit 50, you get 50 back. You deposit 100, you get 100 back. So if you want to do that, sign up with promo code Broshmo, and they will get you started on your betting journey. Bet responsibly, my friends. Let's go ahead, get into this sucker, as we do have a trade. Everyone and their mom's been doing this trade in all their mock drafts since the Bears have secured the number one overall pick. It just makes a ton of sense that the Colts might try to trade up with the Bears. There are connections there with Poles and Ballard, with Eberflus. The Colts, they need a quarterback. They know if they want to get their pick of the gander, then they got to jump the Houston Texans, who are number 2. And then it just looks like a great idea for the Chicago Bears to move back, especially if they only move back to pick 4, I believe is what the Colts have, because then it still enables them to get a Will Anderson or a Jalen Carter. So it's great for all parties. The Colts, they get Bryce Young. He's my favorite quarterback in the class. So to me, yeah, go out and get your quarterback for a team that, honestly, defense isn't far away. I just think they need probably a better DC. I'm not a big Gus Bradley fan, but that's just me. And we'll see what happens with the coaching staff. But yeah, they go Bryce Young, which means the Houston Texans are going Will Levis. I know Mike Renner is a huge fan of Will Levis. If you really love Will Levis's tools, then you're going to be a big fan of him as well. They believe a lot of NFL teams will be big fans of them. Obviously, we need to know what they got going on in their coaching situation. But it seems like quarterback will still be on the board. I'm sure they're going to be in contention for trying to move up to 1. And you'd be like, why would the Texans move up 1 spot? Well, because they don't want a team like the Colts to jump ahead of them. They want to get their pick of the gander when it comes to this quarterback market, not a team like the Colts who trade up to the Bears spot. So I love that Lovie Smith, his last middle finger to the organization was costing the Houston Texans number 1 overall pick. You go, Lovie. I love you in my heart. I've always been a Lovie Smith fan, but they grab Will Levis, quarterback, I think is the right decision for the Houston Texans. The Arizona Cardinals, they're going Will Levis. Just take whoever's the best non-quarterback prospect on your board. In this case, I'm assuming it is Will Anderson. They need pass rush. They lack pass rush. They lack a lot of things on defense, but pass rush happens to be one of them for the Cardinals. So grab Will Anderson. Good pickup. Next, this is pick 4, the Chicago Bears, and it works out just like how I said it. You move down to 4, it still enables you, because everyone and their mom's just going to assume the Texans are going to take a quarterback. It enables you to get the best available prospect between Jalen Carter, Will Anderson. In this case, Jalen Carter. Maybe the Bears even more so fancy Jalen Carter. Matt Eberflus, I think he's a guy that wants to get the trenches shored up, especially like we saw it in Indianapolis with DeForest Buckner. I'm sure he had some sort of hand to do with that, being the DC there with it in Indianapolis. So they get Jalen Carter here. Seattle Seahawks. So now, not ideal. You're picking 5, and you're not going to get the top prospect. You're not going to get the top non-quarterback prospect, but I don't think that means you deviate too much. Go ahead with Myles Murphy. He's going to test out like a monster. I think even, here, Mike Renner says here, what he can do physically at 6'5", 275 is comparable to last year's number 1 pick, Travon Walker. I think he's a bit more polished than Travon. I've been a big fan of Myles Murphy since my preseason evals. Love Myles Murphy. Brian Brazee going to the Detroit Lions. I love this pairing along with Aleem McNeil. You get that 3-tech penetrator in Brian Bruzzi, he's going to test out wonderfully. You got Aiden Hutchinson. You got James Houston also on the outside, though I think you could probably get someone that, because let's be honest, James Houston, he's kind of been in a DPR, though he's done it at an extremely great level. You probably want a guy, they're probably going to also add probably a run first guy in there too. But yeah, no, suddenly that defensive line is looking really, really good. Then we go to the Las Vegas Raiders. They're going with CJ Stroud. They hit the reset button, which I really think they're probably in the market to get a veteran quarterback. But if that doesn't come to fruition, then shoot, you're going to be staring down at 7 and being like, well, a quarterback's going to fall to us, presumably, as long as there's no other trade downs. So we could sit here and grab Will Levis, CJ Stroud. Maybe teams do hate Bryce Young's size. They could get Bryce Young. So Raiders, knowing Derek Carr is on the way out, they grab CJ Stroud. I like that. The Atlanta Falcons go with Tyree Wilson. Since Jared Verse decided to return, broke my heart, but that's all right. I'll cover him a ton next year, so that's A-okay. We get Tyree Wilson, who's a very good run defender. They need more pass rush. This team desperately needs pass rush. Tyree Wilson will help with that. Moves exceptionally well for a guy that's 6'6", 275. With Dean Pease out of Atlanta, I'm kind of curious, how will that change the defense? We will find out. The Carolina Panthers, number 9. They go Anthony Richardson. I mean, and this first line says it all. Beggars can't be choosers. With 3 quarterbacks already off the board, like the Carolina Panthers need a quarterback. Will they pick up one in free agency? Perhaps. But picking 9, it's not a great spot to get one of the top quarterback prospects. It just isn't. We really got 3 prospects and then a potential lottery ticket. That what happens with most lottery tickets, they don't end well for people. So like, yeah, I mean, Anthony Richardson, man, if he hits, it's going to be phenomenal. He's got all the tools to be a top 10 pick. It's just the play has not been there. He is far from being a developed passer, but more well along than you would say a guy like Malik Willis was last season. So Panthers go quarterback. Can't imagine another quarterback going off the board now in this draft. The Philadelphia Eagles, they go Brian Branch. Mamma mia, this is a spicy one. I like this. Here we're talking about that would be a perfect fit if Jonathan Gannon's defense, or for Jonathan Gannon's defense, especially if C.J. Gardner-Johnson departs via free agency. Which again, he's a guy at the end of his deal. Do they bring him back? I don't know. We'll find out. Or if they get a nice budget option in Brian Branch. Listen, we need to talk about Brian Branch as a top 15 prospect in this class. He's absolutely great. I released my safety rankings out earlier today. I absolutely love Brian Branch. He's one of my favorite players in this draft. Truly a my guy. And I would like this addition to the Eagles. Is something they would do? Who knows? But I mean, at this point, who cares? The Tennessee Titans are going Paris Johnson. If you don't like Peter Skoronski, because there's going to be very real potential limitations with Skoronski, I think that moves up Paris Johnson to the top tackle in this class. They need a tackle, and especially like with this offense, like you're not going to move away next year from Derrick Henry being your offense, which means you need to get that offensive line acting straight. They have Nicholas Petit-Frere on the right side. Go ahead, add his former teammate Paris Johnson. All right, the Houston Texans are going Quentin Johnson. It's very real that they might not have Brandon Cooks after this offseason. We'll see. We'll see how that all unfolds. Quentin Johnson, to me, is the top wide receiver in this class. He's got prototypical X size, great at the catch point, very strong, hard to bring down. Big fan of Quentin Johnson. Texans, they basically get a quarterback, and then they get a receiver to go with the quarterback. And honestly, Will Levis, big problem for him. There at Kentucky, his playmakers didn't exactly create the best windows for him. And you honestly have separators there if Brandon Cooks stays around, and if John Mechie is able to return from leukemia. You get guys that can separate. So I do like this pick, throwing Johnson in there, a guy that knows how to separate with his body. All right, the New York Jets go Peter Skoronski. I like the idea of this. Added more guys to the trenches. Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh. They just love the trenches. Peter Skoronski come in there, maybe play one of the tackle spots, maybe play one of the guard spots. Really, the pick is yours. Peter Skoronski will lack ideal length. Doesn't have high upside as an athlete. I think that might bring him down some boards for teams, but when it comes to what he is technically and his production, there isn't a better tackle in this class. First corner off the board here at the New England Patriots, pick 14. It's Devon Witherspoon. I'm telling you, man, a lot of people are starting to really love them Devon Witherspoon prior to the Senior Bowl, and I think Senior Bowl will just cement his status as one of the top 2 to 3 corners in this class. He definitely fits the system there for New England. They could use another corner on the outside if they want to put Jonathan Jones maybe back in the slot. I think he's a free agent anyway, so maybe if they don't re-sign him, they will probably look to add more guys there at the corner position. For goodness sake, don't put Jalen Mills out there. All right, the Green Bay Packers take Michael Mayer. This is one a lot of people chalk in, because Michael Mayer is another guy. It's like, where's he going to go? He's going to be a top 20 pick, right? Packers make sense. Robert Tonyan is a free agent, getting more reliable receiving threats, which Michael Mayer would be that consistent chain mover, guy that can create after the catch, a guy that knows how to create separation with his body and just that big frame. And he's a plus blocker. So Packers snag him here. I like that. The Washington Commanders go Christian Gonzalez. We already saw one coach get axed from the Commanders being, was it Scott Turner, right? The OC. Will Jack Del Rio follow suit? I don't know. Christian Gonzalez isn't an ideal fit for, I think, the scheme. Okay, Renner puts in here, Gonzalez is one of the more scheme versatile cornerbacks. I tend to think that Cam Smith is that guy, but kind of is what it is. Like Gonzalez, for me, would be the top corner on the board. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they too go with corner, being the guy I just mentioned, Cam Smith. Cam Sutton is a free agent. They need desperately talent at the cornerback position because they currently do not have it. So grabbing Cam Smith here would be incredibly clutch. I love the physicality this cat plays with, whether it's through the route or during the catch. This guy is nice. The Detroit Lions go Bijan Robinson. It's like, where's Waldo? Where is Bijan Robinson going to go? We're all just playing around with different scenarios at this point, and Detroit could make sense. Jamal Williams is a free agent after this season. DeAndre Swift can't stay healthy. This is a team with one of the best offensive lines in football, and what do you want to have when you have one of the best offensive lines in football? A run back that can pay dividends. Bijan is easily the best run back in this class. For me, the only guy that deserves to go first or go in the first round, and a top 20 prospect to me. So going to the Lions, I don't mind that. They get Brian Brazil as well. Also, at this point, we could talk about maybe corner, as we still have guys like Keely Ringo and Joey Porter Jr., who are still on the board. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they go Nolan Smith. Me personally, I like the idea of picking up one of those corners because Jamil Dean and Sean Murphy, but are free agents, kind of is what it is. This is a team that also, with Shaq Barrett out, didn't get a lot of pass rush. They weren't getting pressure. That's just been the case. Their pass rush apparently is only Shaq Barrett. So you keep hitting until you get it right. Nolan Smith, I'm kind of curious how far he potentially might fall because of the pectoral. I don't think he'll be healthy enough to work out on his pro day. I don't know. We'll see. But they grabbed Nolan Smith, undersized, but a very good run stuffer at his size. Seattle Seahawks, they go Keely Ringo. Can you imagine pairing Tyreek Woolen, who is a big corner who run real fast, with another big corner who run real fast? That is just absolutely scary. You got Kobe Bryant there in the slot, who is just creating all kinds of turnovers, whether it's interceptions, forced fumbles, and then suddenly your secondary looking a heck of a lot better. They're going to get a nice little, we'll see how they do in the playoffs. Do they make a run? Who knows? Maybe they won't be picking 20. We'll find out. But I do like this addition. They get, They get Miles Murphy, they get Keely Ringo. Two guys that are going to just blow up the combine. Jacksonville Jaguars go Osiris Torrance. Their guard spot has been atrocious this season. They spent some money to get, Brandon Sheriff in there? So maybe you try to improve the other guard spot. It's been Tyler Shantley, who's honestly a better reserve center. And, Ben Barch, who honestly just move that cat back to tackle. So grabbing a guard kind of makes sense. You could also make a case for a corner, but then again, the corner you're picking here, Joey Porter Jr. Also, I would like that pick as well, but kind of is what it is. Osiris Torrance, probably the only interior player that I think could go go in the first round. Miami Dolphins forfeit their pick. Fins up, baby. I love my Dolphins. I hate that we won't get a first round pick. Is what it is. The New York Giants, Jordan Addison. This is everybody's favorite place to mock Jordan Addison because the Giants desperately need receivers. Desperately need receivers. Hopefully they get off Kenny Galladay's contract this offseason. And then now you're going to pair Jordan Addison up with guys like Sterling Shepard. They got Isaiah Hawkins. Can't remember. Former Oregon State receiver. I actually really liked him as a late round pick back when he came out. And then you got Wandale, who's going to man up the slot. You get a guy who can separate both vertically and horizontally. Former Biletnikoff winner in Jordan Addison. The Baltimore Ravens go Darnell Washington. Listen, Darnell Washington is going to have, and I'm going to discuss this when we talk about tight ends probably tomorrow, potentially, that he's not going to be right for every team. If he goes in the first round, it's got to be a particular situation. I wouldn't take him in the first round because this is basically like a 6 offensive lineman that has really good straight line speed for a guy that's 6'7", 270, but isn't really much laterally. He's a guy that's really going to carve it up maybe over the middle of the field. That's going to have to find the soft spot in coverage. But once he gets the ball, it's like taking down a freight train. He's going to be really good in the red zone. And straight up, man, a team like the Baltimore Ravens wouldn't be a bad place for him. Actually, schematically, I think that's one of the most ideal locations for him to go. But I still won't take him first round. That's just kind of me. And then the Los Angeles Chargers go with Zay Flowers. I actually made this pick in the mock. I love the idea of them getting a nice, fast, vertical receiver. They're missing that vertical separator. Mike Williams, yeah, he's a vertical receiver, but he's a big-bodied vertical receiver that doesn't exactly create ideal separation. Zay Flowers he's so twitched up, you can do a lot of fun things with him in the screen game. I think eventually they're going to move on from Keenan Allen, which I think that's when Trey Palmer kind of emerges. He looked really good when Keenan Allen was hurt and banged up. So I think he's probably going to take on that role. So, yeah, you're just going to keep adding playmakers for Herbert while he's under that rookie deal. So I like this one. Dallas Cowboys, they go Drew Anderson, first linebacker off the board, by the way. Let's actually read this. If the Cowboys want to make their third down package unstoppable, Sanders is a guy who can bring that wish to life. 6'5", 232. Sanders has off-the-ball range with edge rusher-esque pass rushing moves. If you remember, Alabama, before he transferred to Arkansas, really tried him as a pass rusher. He showed this year that, I could still do pass rusher things. I'm actually pretty solid in coverage as well. So he does bring a plethora of different things to that roster. I mean, that would be scary having Sam Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons. But does it feel like a bit overkill? Can you get all those guys on the field at the same time? Joey Porter's still on the board, by the way. I think I'd probably be going with the corner. But that's just me. Cincinnati Bengals. They go Anton Harrison. He's that next tier. Oh, actually, Broderick Jones still on the board. So I think Anton Harrison is kind of like, he's on the verge of being included with like Broderick Jones, Paris Johnson. He's not exactly in that tier. He's a guy that probably will have like a pretty rough rookie year as he gets used to NFL play strength, as he improves his own play strength. But a guy from a pass protection perspective has just been amazing there at Oklahoma. Really has. Cincinnati Bengals, they need, and I mean this, they need tackle help. Right here, man, they're talking about kicking Jonah Williams to the inside. And I mean, Leo Collins, he might not even start the season next year, coming off another injury. So it's like, meh. So, like, tackle does make a ton of sense for the Cincinnati Bengals. On to the Minnesota Vikings. They go Tanner McKee. I was wrong about a quarterback, another quarterback not coming in. So, big reason I don't think McKee ends up being a first rounder is because the dude's just not mobile. And in today's NFL, you kind of want your quarterback to be a little bit mobile. Tanner McKee, that ain't him. He's a guy who likes to sit in the pocket and deliver the ball. He wasn't seeing the best windows in college football there at Stanford, but he was a guy that was able to throw receivers open there at Stanford. I don't necessarily think he has enough production or the mobility skills to warrant a first rounder. We could talk about, like, this is kind of cool from an aspect. Like, oh yeah, now you have a plan to get off of that Kirk Cousins contract. I don't think that necessarily needs to be the case, but here is Tanner McKee going there. Denver Broncos go Joey Porter. So this is just sick value in general. Ronald Darby got banged up this year, and honestly, Damari Mathis did a solid job filling in for him, but grabbing more cornerback depth and competition and talent, never the wrong answer. You can never have enough corners in today's NFL. And just with how good the value is here for Joey Porter, I don't mind it. Buffalo Bills go Trenton Simpson. Tremaine Edmonds is set to be a free agent, and I would love to get a replacement there. As Edmonds, he's kind of been up and down, but a guy that's a wonderful athlete. But I wouldn't mind looking to the future, like especially with Osiris Torrance not here. He's like my favorite pick for the Bills. But going to the linebacker well does make a little bit of sense if you're the Buffalo Bills. So yeah, Trent Simpson, man, he's a guy that honestly, like, his blitzing capability is up there with Matt Milano, and he's just really good out in space. Get that athlete that you were hoping Tremaine Edmonds would be at linebacker. Oh my gosh. And then the Kansas City Chiefs go Luke Musgrave. This is freaking shocking. Luke Musgrave only played 2 games this year, but he's such a great athlete. We're going to see him at the Senior Bowl. Maybe he could help that stock out a bit. I still kind of peg him as a 3rd rounder just because, well, we didn't get to see a lot of him this year. He could be a great athlete, but still, man, you want to be able to see more from him. I get it. Travis Kelce is going to be 34 next year, but like, I feel like they may feel good about some of the guys they've gotten production with out of the tight end position, but it's not like they have anyone extraordinary. Like, Noah Gray's fine. They got Fortson. Is that the other cat's name? He's all right. But, man, I'm still going defense, dude. Like, Lucas Van Ness is such a Spagnola pick, man. He really is. And then with the final pick in this draft, the Philadelphia Eagles go with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Can you imagine? First of all, just imagine. Freaking A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and then Jackson Smith and Jigba in the slot. It's like, yeah, they got fast Batman there with Watkins, but I mean, Watkins could be that guy you just like put on for those plays that are just dialed up for him to stretch the field vertically. Like Jackson Smith and Jigba, you get a guy every down that can make plays underneath and just create after the catch. Like, dude's a fire route runner. Like, it's kind of a fun pick for the Eagles, I'll say that, most definitely. And honestly, it would be an upgrade from Watkins. Like, Watkins is just a guy that's going to separate vertically. That's just who he is. He's our fast receiver. That's kind of what he is. But yeah, no, I kind of like this pick of Jackson Smith and Jigba. I would have liked to get a corner out of here, but like the top 5 options are off the board, so you're kind of stuck like hoping. Not even hoping, but like what you're gonna get that next tier corner, which is like Clark Phillips, Emmanuel Forbes, Jalen Johnson. Do any of those guys really make you feel good? Emmanuel Forbes honestly might, but I mean, you could also go with the interior with guys like Mozzie Smith and Siaki Ika being available here. It's just honestly, it's just not a great spot for the Eagles, and this feels like a really good value pick. It really does. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. As always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.